Hello friends, today I am going to discuss with you one more important aspect of business communication skills, and this aspect is known as feedback. I will tell you today that what is the importance of feedback in any kind of communication. So first of all, we will begin with the actual definition of the feedback. Feedback is actually the receiver's response to any kind of communication. As we know that in any communication process, we have two people, the sender of the communication and the receiver of the communication. So, the sender is a person who conveys something to the receiver, and receiver is the person who listens to the sender. But after listening, the receiver also gives certain reactions to the sender. And that reaction which is given by the receiver, that is known as feedback. So, feedback is very crucial in any kind of communication. Unless we know that what the other person thinks about what we have conveyed to him, we cannot understand that whether we have conveyed our information properly or not. And we also cannot judge that whether our information is acceptable to the receiver or not. So it is very crucial that the receiver's response should always be taken into consideration in any kind of communication, ladies and gentlemen, be it verbal, be it written, be it in any form. In any business organization, time and again, the managers, they try to implement new policies for the upliftment and growth of the employees. Whatever policies they are implementing in the organization, whatever new changes they want to implement in the organization, whether those changes are acceptable to the employees or not, whether those changes are properly accepted by the employees or not, this should be known, ladies and gentlemen, because if this information is not known, organization cannot understand that whether its implemented policies are being liked by the people or not. So this is very crucial that the organization should know that what is the feedback of all the decisions that the organization is taking in the direction of fulfillment of the desires of the working employees. So feedback is a kind of process which tells you that whether your policies that are being implemented are being accepted by the audience or not, are being accepted by the operative employees or not. So that is the very crucial aspect of feedback, ladies and gentlemen. And feedback is not only particularly in this particular form. Feedback has different forms. Feedback is also applicable in case of business presentation skills. For example, you are making a business presentation and there are a large number of people gathered in the audience to listen to you. You require feedback of those people to know that whether you have presented properly or not. After presentation, the presenter gives some kind of written document to the people who are listening to your presentation, and he expects from the listeners that they should write something on the document about the manner he has presented. So depending on what they write, he can make further improvements in his presentation skills. There are listeners, there are categories of listeners in any kind of presentations, ladies and gentlemen, and different listeners have their own listening capacity. And different listener can perceive the presenter in their own different way. So how they perceive the presenter, how they perceive the presentation of the presenter, they write a proper feedback of it. And after reading that feedback, after going through that feedback, the presenter can very well analyze himself that where he needs to improve his way of speaking, whether he needs to improve his way of speaking or not, and at what crucial points he needs to improve the way of his speaking. So the listener's feedback becomes a kind of homework for the presenter. And by that homework, he can improve his presentations in future and can be a very good presenter in future, ladies and gentlemen. So this is very crucial aspect of feedback. So feedback is not only crucial in any kind of presentation or seminars, it is also very important in general day-to-day conversation. In any organization time and again implements new policies for the growth and upliftment of the employees. An organization always thinks about its own development, and along with it, it also thinks about the development of the employees. And in order to ensure the development of the company and the development of employees as a whole, time and again it implements large number of policies. But whether those policies are acceptable by the employees or not, that is very crucial aspect. Whether those policies are in favor of the employees or not, whether the employees understand that yes, those policies are actually beneficial for us, or do the employee think that somewhere it is wrong, somewhere it is creating problem for the employees. So if the policies framed by the organization are creating problem for their employees, in employees' opinion, definitely they should give a feedback. They should give a feedback whether the policies being implemented are good for them or not. They should give that feedback, and depending on that feedback, only depending on that feedback, ladies and gentlemen, the managers of the organization, the owners of the organization can decide that yes, whether it is beneficial for them or not. Because if the employer is himself saying that this policy which you are going to implement on me is not going to benefit me, then definitely the policy is not going to benefit the employees, because employees are already aware about themselves. Employees have been working in that organization since long, and they know and they have already gone through all the changes in the organization that the organization has made since the day they are working in the organization. So they are already well aware of the policies and processes of the organization, so they can very well decide for themselves that whether the new policies being implemented by the organization will be in favor of them or will be against them. So depending upon the feedback of the employees, the organization frames new policies. And even after implementation of the policies, feedback is very crucial, because after implementation of the policies, you will find different changes in the attitude and behavior of the employees. And those changed attitudes and behaviors of the employee is again becomes a kind of indirect feedback for the organization to judge that yes, whether the framed policies are acceptable by the employees or not. So it is a kind of indirect feedback. Direct feedback is a kind of feedback where employees directly says that what I like and what I don't like. And indirect feedback is seen by the kind of behavior they portray after implementing the policies by the organization. So the organization has to concentrate on two aspects: the verbal feedback and the non-verbal feedback. So this is very crucial aspect of feedback, ladies and gentlemen. This is the aspect of organizational feedback. But the feedback is also very crucial in day-to-day situations. While talking to someone, while discussing something to someone, while participating in a group discussion, while participating in a conference and seminar, all these categories of communication has a kind of feedback, has different elements of feedback. So every feedback is very crucial in any kind of communication, ladies and gentlemen, and should be kept in mind that feedback should be general. The feedback should be specific, it should not be general. This is one more important aspect of feedback, ladies and gentlemen, that it should be specific, it should not be general. Specific feedback always communicates the actual details to everyone. General feedback will never convey any exact details to everyone. If you are critical about someone's performance, if as a manager you don't like someone's performance, then you should concentrate on that part only which you don't like. You should never comment on general working condition of that particular person. You should not comment on general working pattern of that person. How he actually works, that is not important. Where he is doing something wrong, that is important. And if he has sincerely done something wrong, you should specifically point on that point. That yes, this is the place where you are doing wrong and this is the particular point where you need to make improvements. Only then the desired changes are possible, ladies and gentlemen. Making general statements about a person, making general statements about an act, making general statements about the policies being framed by the organization will never provide you any positive feedback. And you cannot expect any positive response from the organization for that as well. So if you want a positive response from the organization in favor of the employees, if you want a positive response of your fellow worker, then you make it sure that the feedback should be specific. The feedback should specify that whether a person is doing a task properly or not. And if the person is not doing a task properly, then where he is doing wrong. You should concentrate on that specific point where he is doing something wrong. Because unless you tell the person specifically that what wrong he is doing, he cannot make improvements, ladies and gentlemen. Always bear in mind that general statements, general comment about anyone in the organization are not going to help you. They are not going to take you anywhere, and they will never ensure the growth of the organization. The growth of the organization can only be ensured if we concentrate on specific points. Growth of the organization can only be ensured if feedback is given on a specific point. So this is very crucial aspect of feedback, ladies and gentlemen. Overall, I would like to say, ladies and gentlemen, that feedback is very crucial part of communication. It tells us that what other people think about us. It tells us that whether the policies we are about to implement, whether those policies will be acceptable by the operative employees or not. It tells us lots of information, ladies and gentlemen. Feedback tells us lots of information about individual, about group, and about organization as a whole. But the importance of feedback can only be realized if the feedback is specific. Not person specific, but task specific, ladies and gentlemen. Only task specific feedback can lead to proper fit of organization. So bear in mind that whatever tasks are being happening on daily basis in the organization, we should concentrate on all those tasks, that whether they are happening properly or not, whether all the sections of the department, whether all the sections of the factory are working properly or not. And if they are working wrong, if they are doing anything wrong, then try to concentrate on that specific part where they are doing wrong, ladies and gentlemen. Don't judge their general behavior, don't judge their general attitude, but try to judge their specific attitude. Try to pinpoint that specific point where they are doing wrong, so that they can exactly correct that very point, and they should not repeat the same mistake again. Only then we can ensure that we have given a positive feedback to a person. By the help of positive feedback, a person improves and grows in an organization, and ultimately ensures the proper growth of organization. General feedback never gives you anything, ladies and gentlemen, so never be general in giving feedback to anyone. Always be specific. Concentrate on those points which actually require improvement. Concentrate on those points that actually require a proper change of the procedure. This is what I wanted to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, today. This is all about feedback I wanted to tell you. It's a very small part of any business organization, but it is very crucial as far as the overall communication process of the organization is concerned. So always be specific, never criticize anyone, never use bad words for anyone, but always make positive feedback. Always tell what exactly is happening and how it can be improved in a proper way. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.